So I uh, attempted a session long illusion on my players on Tuesday night
Oh,
that went semi
right, the
decently.
illusion session. Tell us about it.
Yeah, yeah. So the premise was that they've spent a few sessions getting to the vampire's castle and saving the bard's fiance. That's the goal.
Yes.
And it's whole big complicated mess, but the vampire is working for somebody else. That's who they're really after, and this is a distraction, but they still have to do it because they care about the fiance, blah, blah, blah. And they get
Yeah.
to the castle doors open up, and instead of being immediately faced with, you know, traps and gauntlets and dangers and fighting their way up, instead they are um, faced with Russell, one of the sort of manservants of the vampire, being very cordial, very polite, asking them to dinner. Immediately creeped them all out. Was weird because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But they did, and it was, eventually, I think around the second course, the fiance is brought in, the vampire comes in. They're like, so what's the deal? And he's like, well, I'm doing this as a favor for this person you're really trying to kill. As long as you aren't going as long as you guys are going to leave peacefully with the fiance and you're going to go kill basically my boss, I'm fine with it. Leave, get out of here. And they were like, they had a few
I don't
questions,
trust this. Yeah.
naturally, of course. And he was as convincing as possible. Gave them instructions through the sort of maze-like forest and safe passage. Oh yeah, my men are fixing your ship already, and sail on out of here. Blah blah blah. And so they went along with it. And what I did was each of the sort of casual checks that they were making, like, okay, here are the instructions that they wrote out for you to like navigate the forest, who's going to lead the way, do a check. All of the checks that they did for survival or for charisma to talk to so and so to convince the townsfolk that everything was cool, each one that they did along the way, I was reinterpolating as a wisdom check because I can't ask them to do a wisdom check
Oh.
for an illusion. That won't work because then they'll be like,
No.
huh, there's an illusion. I'm trying to make it a legit illusion. Um, so that was a little bit of work, but um, because of doing it that way, anytime they rolled over, say, like a 15, something went wrong, right? So at one point, the fiance just like disappeared. Um, Another time, what was it? Like there were just like strange sounds that were reminiscent of the castle when they weren't in the castle anymore.
Hmm.
But they actually, they pushed through a lot of that. They were like, okay, this is weird. We think something's maybe up, but they're like, listen, we don't need the ship actually. Now that we're at the island, we can teleport out of here. The sorcerer teleported the whole group, back to sort of their home tavern where like a party is waiting. So now I'm leaning on this is all too good to be true type of thing, right? So they're basically
Yeah.
being celebrated with a party. Somebody else they know has showed up. Hey, I know how to find the big bad. We can get there super quick. Like basically everything's like falling into place, but there are more hints and things like they start seeing, uh, uh, the person who brings out the cake looks a lot like and kind of is acting just like one of the manservants in the castle, but oh, he's not really. They pull out dwarven ale that is bottled, this ornate thing, just like what was in the castle, and they're like, okay, hold up, and
Yeah.
they started to unravel it, and finally somebody just cast something simple like detect magic, and it broke the whole thing, and they had never left the banquet table, and of course the fiance wasn't there, and then fight breaks out.
Yeah.
So it worked out super well. I was happy with it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's sort of it worked as much as it needed to because the
Hmm.
everybody's suspicious, which is good. Um, because honestly, there was a part of me that's like, if they're not at least a little suspicious, if they're not kind of pushing at the edges of this in the first hour or two, how far will I take this? Like, I kind of have to keep it going, right? Could I let them? Because if they kept going, like everything tumble into place in 2 or 3 sessions, they'd probably be fighting the big bad. like how far could we go with like, man, you guys are just, everything is into place and you're fast tracking to the end of the game. Like, I should probably just go with this until they truly question it. That'd be a real trippy thing, but they
And then
figured
it
it
would be
out,
like
which is good.
it was all a dream and none of that actually happened, and now you have to replay those sessions again.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, it would have
That
been
would be
like a
so frustrating.
snap back to there, and it was all a ruse. Ashley was funny because she's in that Tuesday night group, and she's like, I'm
Is
nervous,
she a
but I don't
hero
want
in
to
that
say.
group? Ah,
She's like, I
yeah.
don't want to say why. I was like, no, go ahead, tell them why. She's like, well, we're leaving the castle, but she's like, I saw the title of your last like prep live stream, which was like, let's prep like a multi-stage boss. And she's like, but I don't want to say what it was. I feel like that wouldn't be so, Um, but that was funny too, because I was like, well, that could just be a misdirect. You never know.
It could be.
We'll
Also, get
see.
off the live stream, Ashley.
I know. Well, that's the problem with YouTube, is that she's been so
She gets
supportive that now it
notifications.
just shows her the titles. Yeah, yeah. She's rarely coming in,
Yeah.
but she did see it.
So now
Uh,
you need to start doing red herrings with your titles.
yeah. Well, it's just. I mean, it was just like, what are the odds that, because I so rarely am actually prepping for one of my sessions in those live streams.
Apparently
So.
100%.
Mhm.